So I'm going to continue complaining about the American Dream Mall because I was surprised by how overstimulated I was. It literally took me over a day to decompress from this. And I'm trying to stop talking about how I have the tism in every single video, and I do get overstimulated, but I used to work at a mall. I used to work at a busy mall. This wasn't like a dead mall. This wasn't like even a strip mall. I used to work at like a really busy mall that was like the mecca of malls because it was like the only mall like outside of New York City or whatever, something like that. And it was always busy, especially on the weekend. So, and I never got overstimulated. Like, I used to love it. I used to love going to the mall, stuff like that. Whatever, I never had a problem. And, driving up to the American Dream Mall, I was immediately creeped out because it looks like and I'm sure everyone knows what it looks like, but it looks like circle. It looks like like it's circular. It looks like a coliseum. It looks like a giant coliseum, and I've never seen anything that big. And like, I've been in and out of Manhattan my whole life, all parts of it, and I was creeped out by the size. It's not like I lived in the middle of nowhere where there's there's no tall buildings. Like, I've been around some serious buildings and stuff. Like, as I've said, like, just now, like, I used to work in the city. I was like always in the city for whatever reason my whole life. I'm not accustomed to use huge buildings, and for some reason, like, the size of this really, really creeped me out. Like, it was humongous, and it was like all white, and it really creeped me out. Like, it really gave me the heebie-jeebies. But I've heard like so much about it, and as I said, I used to work retail. And, part of the reason I stopped wanting to go into retail is because I was constantly they were trying to recruit me to New Jersey and places such as the American Dream. So, like, I've heard a lot about it, and this was, like, one of the few times that, like, I was in the area. Hopefully last time I'm in the area, so I was like, let me just check this thing out, like, once and for all, So I'm driving up there, as I said, like, I got the creeps, and huge. It looked like, it was just like, it looked like some type of like nefarious science project. It looks like one of those places, like, it looks like, I don't know, it looked like one of those places where they like make AI, or like, it kind of gave me like the vibe of like the CERN research center where they're trying to do like the God particle, and like they're like low key opening up like demonic entities and stuff, and it's just like creepy, and it's like, and they're like doing all of like these like spiritual dances, and it's like, it's creepy. It gives like evil scientist vibes. This building gives, I guess, is how I can describe it. And the thing that stood out to me the most was like, I'm driving up to it, and I'm very big on lighting and like natural light and all of that stuff. Like, I'm very about that. Like, that's like a big deal to me, I guess. Like, I'm very like picky about lighting and stuff. So I'm driving up to it, and I'm like, are my eyes deceiving me? Like, am I wrong? Because I don't know anything about architecture, so I could very well be wrong about this, but are there no windows in this humongous above ground building? So this is another day. I wish I'd recorded this while the trauma was still fresh. So now I have to relive it. Because honestly, it took me like 3 days to decompress from all of that, because it was such a bizarre experience. It was so bizarre. I never thought I'd be making like a video about a mall, of all things. But yeah, so I drive up to it. And I'm like, are there seriously no windows? And, me not being like an architecture person at all, like, I can look at something and think it's pretty, but I don't know anything about architecture. So I'm like, maybe surely, like, there has to be windows. There's no way there are no windows. Like, surely there are windows. This thing is huge. Most of it's above ground, clearly. And I'm like, maybe it's like designed, like architecturally designed in such a way that you can't see the windows from a distance because they're like slanted at some angle. But then like once you get up to it, or like once you get inside it, there's like windows, There were no windows. So I drive up and I pay for parking, and I talk about, which I'd never heard. Like, I get that I'm in a parking garage. I said in like the last video talking about this, I live near a mall. Like, I've never paid for parking ever, and the mall that I live near has like high-end stores, yada yada. Like, no parking. You don't pay for parking unless you're doing valet, including inside the parking garages. I'm not like a big mall person, I think, because I live fairly close to the city, and this mall that I'm talking about, by the way, is a big mall. Like, because it's the largest mall, like, whatever. So, like, and I am not like a mall person, I would say, like, because I live fairly close to the city. Every time I've like really wanted something and it wasn't near me, I would go to the city to find it or order it online, but if I really want to do like some serious shopping, I would go to the city, like, more so I guess like when I was like younger and stuff. But yeah, like, I don't know, I've worked at malls and stuff because I've done retail, and all of the malls that I've traveled to for that have never required parking. This is a first. Yeah, it's just kind of weird to me that you're like just going to a mall, and it's like a huge mall, that's supposed to be like inviting for everyone, clearly, and they're charging for parking. And the only time I've ever been to a mall, there's one time I was in Flushing working at a mall or whatever. I forget why I was at that mall. I don't think I was working. But, like, because that's in the city, and parking garages, like, typically, if you want to park in a parking garage in the city, that's going to cost you. I understood, like, paying a ticket paying parking. I didn't get, like, a ticket or anything. Like, like, I understand paying parking to park in the parking garage for a mall that's, like, in the city. But, New Jersey's the suburbs. Like, it makes sense to pay for parking for a parking garage in the city because space is limited, and that's just how things go in the city. This is the suburbs, and there was like a whole bunch, like, it was just, and one of the reasons why I think I found it creepy, because there was like just so much open space, and then there's like this massive coliseum, like, there is no reason for like a freaking, I've just never done that before. Not that it was like a big deal to pay for it's just like, it's not a big deal, but it's like, because I hate when people like nitpick at like paying for like little fines, like little things here and there, but this was just like strange to me, Anyways, so I get inside, and as I said, I parked in the luxury wing by accident. Like, I'm like, not like, I didn't know what I was doing. I've never been there before. But I'm glad I did, because that was the only place. There was like one window all the way I think there's a restaurant called Carpaccio or something. I forget if that was the one in the basement or the one upstairs. That was Carpaccio, but there was like, I don't know, but there was like a window wall. And so that was like the only place, aside from like the Toys R Us thing for the kid, which I'll get into that, but like, that was the only windows there were. There were no windows. There were indeed no windows. So I get in, and the entire wall is covered in AI wallpaper. Like, it's like, and this is the luxury wing, as I said. Like, this is like, they have like Dolce & Gabbana, Hermes, like whatever. I think they just built it. It was really weird AI wallpaper. It would be like, and I think like I'll insert an image. It would be like it's like you typed into clip art or something. If anyone remembers clip art, like luxury, and the pictures popped up, and you take the clip art pictures, make them less cartoonish, make it look AI. That's what it looked like. And they would all like weirdly fade into each other. It would be like a butterfly fades into a pearl necklace, fades into a poodle, fades into like a pair of lips blowing up bubblegum, like, like covered in bubbles, like, and the fade would be like, it would be like pearl necklace, or not like, or like, whatever. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm like tired. I have to finish roasting this place, because I was legitimately like, I was like in a daze for 3 days after this. And maybe it doesn't sound that dramatic as I'm describing it, but it was really, because I got lost in it, of course, for like an hour. So yeah, the wallpaper, it was just really weird. It would be like a poodle covered in, and then it would like, the poodle would like be covered in bubbles, and then it would fade into a butterfly. It's like some really weird AI wallpaper covering, I guess, that section. Obviously, I'm running out of space on this one, so I'm going to go part 2.